Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank the distinguished Chairman of Oversight for his graciousness and leadership. Mr. Speaker, we have found consensus. Sweet, elusive consensus. We found it. Not in the final committee vote. That would be too much to ask. Not even in the testimony of the witnesses who came before the subcommittee, but we found consensus among the members themselves, one after the other, who testified as to the power and the magic of education to transform not just their lives, but generations of lives. I spoke with a distinguished member from the other side of the aisle, a gentleman that I happen to like and respect very much and is one of the most powerful speakers in this body. And I will not call his name because the conversation was not public, but he recalled for me the day that he was sworn in to office, and how his father came to him with tears streaming down his face. And some of the tears were the tears that only a father can have who is delighting in the success of a child. But some of the tears were also the acknowledgement that it could have been the father and not the son, had the father not been born in the wrong town, at the wrong time, in the wrong state, and yes, in the eyes of our educational system of yesterday, the wrong race. It is that shared acknowledgement that education is the pathway to prosperity that makes me struggle with how someone can oppose this bill. The parents want it. They feel more vested. They feel like their children are safer. Mr. Speaker, you should have seen the parents that came and crossed political and cultural and racial lines to testify on behalf of this bill in the subcommittee. They want it desperately. The students want it. They feel safer. They feel like it's an educational environment that is conducive with their learning. Their test scores are higher. But even if they were not, their graduation rates are higher. And as a former prosecutor who cannot remember the last high school graduate that I prosecuted, the simple fact that they are graduating from high school in and of itself is enough of a reason to support this. Educational achievement is higher, educational attainment is higher. The parents want the same choices for their kids that the President of the United States and indeed most of us who are members of Congress have for ours. Even the United States Department of Education once lauded this program as an example of something that works until someone or something told them to think otherwise. The residents of the District of Columbia, again, crossing racial, political lines, overwhelmingly support this program. And the most insidious argument is also the most demonstrably false, that somehow this program takes dollars away from the three-sectored approach that the District of Columbia uses. The public schools will still be funded. The charter schools will still be funded. This just provides a third alternative, a third choice for parents who desperately want it and need it.
Mr. Speaker, I yield the gentleman an additional 1 minute.
Gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
One of the reasons the public approval for our body is sometimes so historically low is we have a tendency to demagogue those with whom we disagree, and we create false dichotomies. This bill is no more about the independence of the District of Columbia than anything else. The District of Columbia does not think twice before accepting federal dollars for the public school system, the charter school system, or a host of other agendas. Nor does the District of Columbia think twice when it accepts Pell Grant monies that allow an 18-year-old to go to Georgetown, which is a private school, but will not allow a 17-year-old to go to a private high school. Nor is this bill about whether or not someone believes in the public school system. I went to the public schools in South Carolina. My wife teaches in the public schools in South Carolina, and my son will graduate from the public schools in South Carolina, but I will miss his graduation. Like many of you have missed things in your lives because we will be in session. What I will not miss is the opportunity to throw a lifeline to kids who were born through the vicissitudes of life into poverty. We will give them the same choices and chances that we had.